Value investing is developed by Benjamin Graham. It has been uniformly in every sense, both in terms of statistical studies, in terms of successful investment organizations, in terms of individual investors who dominate sort of the top tier of investment performance, overwhelmingly the most successful approach to investing in practice. On the other hand, after a very long successful career, Benjamin Graham himself in the middle 1960s decided that he had been wrong. That in fact, markets were efficient, and I don't know how he said this to himself, but in some sense, the implication was that he'd just been very lucky for the 40 years of his career. The irony of that is that he made that judgment just at the moment when systematic statistical studies of computer databases, which is one of the big developments really in all investment, were absolutely validating the value approach beyond any possibility of challenge, although typically that has not stopped the University of Chicago from trying to challenge the unchallengeable. Has to be something in the air out there. I guess if you survive in that wind and cold, you'll do anything. What that development has led to in practice, besides just the academic debate, is that those uses of computers have led to increasingly effective, systematic value investing processes where the very best of them integrate computer approaches to database analysis, to finding in a very large global universe of stocks those that just in statistical terms look most valuable, and then put on a layer of traditional valuation and industry analysis to go beyond that and integrate things. Now, one of the advantages of doing that, and it's absolutely crucial in a value context, is that that imposes discipline. Because the hardest thing for a value investor to consistently do is be disciplined. And one of the striking stories about this is the most successful, probably statistical value fund over the last 40 years is Sanford Bernstein. Their US value fund started in 1971. They've outperformed the market by 3% a year. On the other hand, since they are careful and disciplined, they benchmark the performance of that fund against very simple low market to book, low price earnings alternatives. And the simple models outperform their 200 analyst complicated models by about 1% a year. That Sanford Bernstein outperformed by 3%, the simple models outperformed by about 4%. What that means is that value is a very, very effective discipline, and when you fool with it, all the sort of behavioral tendencies that create the value opportunities tend to undermine things. So what's happened increasingly is there's a new generation, I think, of statistically based value investors who are careful in detail about making sure that they improve things, and William von Muffling has been one of the most successful of those. And so it's a pleasure to honor that set of procedures and approaches that he developed to the benefit of his investors. The second thing that's happened is that value investing has gradually, due among other things to the efforts of people like Mario, both in developing investment approaches like private market value with a catalyst, but also in providing financial and other support, has become academically respectable. Preeminently, I think it's fair to say that it's academically respectable at Columbia, but it's also penetrated Northwestern, where there's a program, Stanford, where there's a program and a course, Harvard, where there's a program and a course, even Chicago, where there are elements of a program, although again they resist recognizing what it really is, and most recently, I think, thanks to Mario's donation, at Fordham University in the Bronx, where for at least some part of value investing it all started. Now, William is actually a graduate of the program. He graduated, I think, in 1995. And he is our first, well, he's among several truly successful investors that we've produced. And as you do that, of course, you establish the validity of the value discipline as well as benefiting a new set of investors and, sad to say, creating competition for Mario. But what he has also done, besides demonstrating the efficacy of a well-trained value investor, is that he has been a big supporter of the center that Aaron ran, that has produced an increasing number of students and an increasing amount of ideas that Tano's going to talk about. He has been the chairman of our board for several years now and has helped expand to a program that really produces, I think, a significant double-digit number of good value investors every year, as opposed to the fairly haphazard existence of courses that came and went in the days of great men like Roger Murray, who really did it all by himself. So for both those reasons, the development of techniques, the demonstrated performance in integrating systematic discipline statistical approaches with more traditional security analysis and active research, and for his contributions to just the institutional generation of what we hope, I guess, but I think it's increasingly clear that it's not a vain hope, are sustainable academic institutions for producing future investors that will benefit all of you, like Mario himself, who really was more than anything else a fortuitous accident.